I'm Julie Saunders.
I'm Jan Wilson. Julie and I both have experience as school librarians, and we've worked together as district library leaders.
In each episode, we'll dive into our profession with interviews and meaningful content to inspire you. We're not experts,
but we're pretty close.
The ideas and opinions shared by any host, guest, or listener are their own and do not represent those of any respective school district.
Welcome to Library Exchange. This episode is sponsored by Mackin. For over 40 years, Mackin has provided pre-K through 12th grade libraries and classrooms with access to over 4 million printed and digital fiction and nonfiction titles.
The 26-time multi-award winning digital content management system, Mackin Via, along with divisions Mackin Library, Mackin Classroom, Mackin Maker, Mackin Learning, and the brand new whole school resource management system, Mackin Vision, help to create a truly unique and robust educational resource company that schools and educators have relied on year after year.
For more information, visit mackin.com today. So, Julie, we're recording this episode just before heading to St. Louis for the AASL conference. And so by the time this is released, the conference has wrapped up and hopefully everyone's home safe and sound. So do you have any predictions on what those 3 days look like for us?
Well, this will have been a big deal for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's our first time representing our podcast in the exhibitor hall at a conference.
Yes. And fingers crossed that our stamina held out for those 3 days.
My second prediction is we will have connected with school librarians who might be future guests on Library Exchange.
True, very true. But don't forget to mention our swag.
Yeah, right. Hopefully we gave away all of our swag and there wasn't anything left to pack up on Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, I like those. Those are great predictions. And, I don't know if I properly thanked you for your hard work on making the candles and stickering the Smarties that we gave away.
Yeah.
But I guess that's why you're getting to fly to St. Louis and I get to drive 9.5 hours with my car packed with candy balloons, bookmarks, and candles.
Well, it's going to smell good, that's for sure.
But I think it was my idea, so there you go.
All right, well, let's get to our guest. Rebeca Fox is a former classroom teacher and is kicking off her 8th year as a school librarian. This is her first year at the high school level, but she has experience in both elementary and middle school libraries, too.
Yeah, that's what I would call the librarian trifecta, Rebecca. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but we can make it a thing.
I like the sound of it.
Okay. Rebecca was selected to be part of the Tall Texans class of 2025, so congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And that's an acronym for Texans Accelerated Library Leaders. You may be familiar with Rebecca with her post on TikTok at thefoxreads, and we're excited to talk with her today. So welcome to Library Exchange, Rebecca.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So, Rebecca, tell us about your school, including number of students, staff, and any other details you want to share.
Yeah, so I am a high school librarian from Texas, South Central Texas, and I have a school of just over 2,600 students and just over 200 teachers. We are very, very diverse. Our kids come from all kinds of backgrounds, socially and culturally. And also, they just are friggin' great kids. I love them to death. They're phenomenal. I also work in a very, very large district within the state. So everything's bigger in Texas. What can I say?
So can we talk about you being new to a school as a librarian and what that feels like, even though you have experience in this role? I mean, how do you build relationships with teachers when you're new to a campus, especially in a high school where there are departments by content areas?
Very delicately. It takes a lot. So that's one thing that I've noticed, regardless as to what level you're at, is it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to build rapport with your teachers and with your students. And one of the things that we face as high school librarians is that in the elementary, being part of the library and going to the library is kind of like a given. It's an expectation for most places, not all, but most places that you're going to go, your kids are going to go, and that excitement is already there. But it seems like, at least in my experience, as you move up, the more that expectation kind of falls away. And I get it, right? Kids are busy, teachers are busy, they're the experts in their departments, in their domains, in their subjects. And so you have to really look at coming into the library from a different perspective and understanding that you're playing a very big support role. So it's not necessarily, I'm the expert, I can do this, although I am the expert in research and copyright and all kinds of things, but they don't always see that and they don't always understand that prior to working with me. So then it becomes, you're the expert. Help me help you enhance your lesson. Here's what I can do to support you. Here's what I can do to support your students. Let me kind of take a little bit off of your plate, and then we can collaborate together and make it work. And so that has gone a long way for building rapport with my teachers. And I'm still working on it because it's hard. Switching to a new campus, switching to a new level, regardless, it's hard work.
Yeah, so it sounds like you are finding ways to build their trust. And that's difficult. Like Julie said, even though you come in with experience, you're still new to that school. And we have to ask ourselves that question, why should they bring their classes to my library? I saw your post about the input forms that you use with students and teachers at the beginning of the school year. So can you tell us about those and what type of questions did you ask?
Yeah, absolutely. I try really hard to build a library program that is not just student-centered, but also staff-centered. And so at the beginning of the year, because I'm new to campus and I wanted to really get some data, some input about what it is that they're looking for. And honestly, you don't have to be new to campus to do this. You can be there for 10 years and still get input and data. And so I made a form, one for my teachers and one for my students. And it was paper to begin with, just because we didn't have our Chromebooks yet. And which was fun because now I have a giant stack of papers.
That's the post I saw.
Yeah. But I just asked things like, when you come into the library, how do you want it to feel? Because I want them to understand that the library is not just a place of books. It has a feeling. Like, how do you want it to be when you walk in? Do you want to feel comfortable? Do you want to feel welcomed? Do you want it to be chill? Do you want it to be high energy and just like going nonstop? For me, growing up, libraries were a sanctuary. And so it felt very safe, very comforting. And I wanted to know what the kids wanted with that. Like, where do you want me to take this? I've got some really great feedback from that. I've had kids who are like, well, it kind of feels like an office in here.
Oh,
or it feels like a warehouse. And at first I was like, I don't understand what you guys are talking about. Can you explain this to me? And so almost unanimously, they're like, it's very bright. It's very bright in here. And we want it more dim. We want cooler lighting in here. And we just want it to feel like a chill place for us. It's like, I can do that. I can make that happen. So another question that kind of tied into that was, what resource would you like the library to purchase? And it wasn't necessarily books, although they were welcome to put that in there. And so I gave them the example of how in my previous library, I had a game library where kids could check out games, go play with their friends, and then bring it back. I gave them the examples of how I used to have custom neon signs in the school colors around the library to kind of make it feel more like a teen space.
Right.
And they really liked that stuff. And some of the stuff that they had suggestions for were amazing. Although I did get quite a bit of requests for massage chairs.
I like that one.
Like, I don't have massage chair money, guys. Sorry. Nice try.
Maybe your staff would use those. Yeah. So, all of that goes into that welcoming space, and they're your largest stakeholder.
But the kids did mention how, and I thought this was very kind of introspective of them in a way, because they said how it's very separated. And when I asked them to explain, they said, well, people come in and they're on their computers and they're doing this over here, and somebody is doing this over here, and somebody else is over here. They said, but there's not like a sense of community. Like, we don't just all go in and have fun together. And so in going over these forms with the kids and talking to them during orientation lessons, one of the things that the kids said, and I mean, this one kind of blew me away, is they go, we want our whimsy back. And I was like, what do you mean your whimsy? And they said, we're still kids. We want our whimsy. Give us the fun.
I love that. That's great.
I just
So,
wrote that down.
yes, absolutely. So maybe you should explain what the whimsy is. What kinds of whimsies?
Well, one of the things that they mentioned was, because that was my question, right? Like, what do you mean the whimsy? They requested things like book fairs because now they have jobs. Some of them have jobs and they want to buy like the fun pens and the toys and which turned out to be a good thing that they told me that, because now those are some of the prizes that I give for completing reading challenges or participating in library programs. And then some of the stuff was, they said in middle school and elementary, they used to do like reading days where they would just come to the library and hang out and read under tables or whatever the case may be. And I remember I did a day like that with my middle schoolers every year. And it was the best day of the year for teachers and staff. And we always did it around the winter time. So that's something that we're looking at bringing back for the high schoolers, is making it a little bit more fun for them.
Right.
Oh, I love that. So we've seen the book subscription boxes on your posts, and others have posted about that too. What are they and how do you create those?
So that is not my original idea.
No, but we want you to share.
Yes, please.
I went to TLA one year, the Texas Library Association. I try to go every year, and they've got phenomenal ideas and great PD. So if you ever get a chance, highly recommend it. It's one of the largest in the nation because Texas is so big.
We've heard that. Yeah. Everything's large or big in Texas, right?
Everything's bigger in Texas, baby. But I went to a presentation one time from a public school librarian, and she showed us, this was her award-winning program, was the subscription boxes, but it was public libraries. And so I remember being like, I can totally do this. Let me bring it to my school. So I took that idea, and it's just like, think of like an Ipsy makeup subscription box or any of the subscription boxes that you might have that you can purchase a subscription and then every month you get something. But it's a little different because funds are limited, because library funding is hard to come by for some people. We kind of reduced it down. So I did 20 kids all together, and it was by grade level. Each grade level got the same number of kids. And then I say that, but then I always had a couple extra, which is why I did 20. But so the kids would come in. It was first come, first serve. So they would sign up as quick as they could, and they sold out super fast. They're free, 100% free, but they had to sign up for one. And then you could only sign up for one a year. Once they signed up, I would pull them into the library at some point and have them fill out a questionnaire. And the questionnaire had things about, what's your favorite genre? What's your second favorite genre? What do you absolutely not want to read? What kinds of shows do you watch? What kind of movies do you watch? What kind of music do you listen to? Do you have any food allergies? What's your favorite holiday? What do you do outside of school? Different things like that. So it's basically really getting to know your kid. Like when we do a book talk, a one-on-one book talk with a kid, it's those same questions, but in a Google form. And then you get all that data, and you have all 20 kids, all the information, and then you just go through and you start picking books that you think would be a good match for them. And I have a habit of making programs that take a lot of work, but they're really successful and a lot of fun, and the payoff is well worth it. Because then within the box, the kids it's just like a bakery box that you would put a cake in, and they get 2 library books that are specifically selected for them. And then each month is themed. So they would get a bunch of goodies that go along with that theme. For example, at the end of the year, for May, we're getting ready for summer. So we did little pizza plushies, because summertime pizza, and we did the beach balls for the pool and a bunch of like pool related stuff and summer things. And then they got snacks too, which was always a big seller. But again, the whimsy is part of it because the kids wanted like the stickers. Right. So we would give them stickers. We would give them the best thing that they loved. They absolutely loved was like a little rubber ducky, and they would try to collect rubber duckies with their friends. I also tried to make sure they had things to do because that school was very socioeconomically challenged. I wanted them to have things to do with their siblings. So I would give them like multiple things of slime. I would give them different playing cards. Like I think the summer one, the playing cards were shaped like dollar bills. I would give them games that they could play with siblings or cousins at home, that kind of stuff, so that they had something to do other than just eat the food and read the books.
Oh, I imagine they're so excited when they get one.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Do you do a box every month?
No.
Okay.
No.
Wow. And how often do you do them? Sorry.
No, you're good. I try to do 3 months a semester.
Okay.
Still good.
Doesn't always work out.
Great. Yeah.
But because of testing schedules just being insane and the way things worked out, I was only able to do 3 months last year and 3 months the year before. So I typically will do February, March, and April. And then that kind of buys me a leeway because if I tell the kids, oh, I couldn't get it this month, I'm sorry, guys, we had so much shipping, then I have May to fall back on just in case.
That's smart.
So I can imagine the return on investment for that because you're going to have buy-in from those students.
Well, and I will also say it has helped to build rapport with like family members. So I had my daughter had a birthday party, completely different school. She's in elementary. And one of the moms came up to me and was like, hey, Miss Fox, I'm so-and-so's mom. I was like, oh, hey, I know so-and-so. They're great. And she was like, thank you so much for that book box.
Aww.
He said he still has it on his dresser. And this was like a year later.
I love
he
that.
still has it on the dresser. And he actually did start, like it prompted him to come and check out more. And I had another teacher who was, she goes, I don't know what book you gave him, Fox, but you need to buy more of them. And I was like, what are you doing? She goes, apparently those kids, the one kid that I had given the book to really enjoyed it so much that they book talked it to everybody else. And then everybody in the class just passed it around. But then I had to tell him, like, you have to come check it out. I need those stats.
But that student's advocating for your program.
Yeah, that's right.
That's great.
And so I will say, that's one of the really important parts that I left out is that within the box itself is a piece of advocacy, a brochure that tells them, we love that you want this box and we're so happy to give it to you. If you really enjoy it, please give us a shout out on social media. And then we put your handles.
Smart.
And then we would say, share the love and talk to your grownups at home. Talk to our admin about why you love this box and what it is. And so that they heard it from the kids and not just me.
That's smart. Smart marketing, Rebecca.
It is.
Thanks.
The mom making project for homecoming was a hit. I mean, I also learned this is a huge Texas tradition. Can you describe a little bit about the mums and how it came about for you this year?
So the mums were made, again, not my original program, but I saw the need for it on my campus and I said, you know what, let's do it. It had never been done there before. And it was a smash hit. We made a total of 97 mums. And for those of you who do not know what a mum is, it happens during homecoming, only on homecoming day. The kids come and they are decked out. It's this giant mum flower and it's decorated in the school colors and is customized to whatever the kid specifically does for school or during their high school career or anything like that. And then if you're a senior, tradition dictates that you do a whiteout, which means everything on there has to be white and silver. And I, being new to my campus, said, hey, this is great. Let's do it. My principal then said, hey, this is great. Let's do it. We started advertising. And the next day, we actually had the local news station reach out and say, hey, this is great. Let's do a story on it.
Yay.
Yeah. And that really helped get a lot of community support. I had some people donate money. My assistant and I got a lot of phone calls from community members just saying, like, I'm really glad you guys are doing this. I didn't have this opportunity. When we actually did the program, which is the kids came in without a phone, were handcrafting, cutting, gluing, stapling things together to make this piece that was uniquely them.
Mhm.
It was very touching, and I wasn't expecting that. I don't think any of us were, because we had a lot of teachers who got kind of misty-eyed, and
Yeah.
it was just a really great way to build community with the
Mm.
kids and with the
And
teachers
and maybe
staff.
students discussing why they're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
their mom a certain way.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And you get to build that rapport with the kids and get to know them a little bit better. And I had quite a number of seniors who told me, Miss Fox, this is the first mom I've ever had because I couldn't afford it before, or I didn't know where to get it. I didn't know how to make it. And from Texas, this is a big deal. Like everybody, they spend hundreds of dollars on their
Wow.
every year. The counselors were showing me a picture of one of the girls who spent $400
Oh,
and it was her entire length of her body, and it lit up, and it was just a monstrous piece. Yeah, I didn't do that. But
wow.
yeah, I was
And
like, who paid for that?
and whimsy isn't the right seriously, whimsy is not the right word to describe what you just did for your students, and I'll need a few minutes to think of a better word, but how incredible that you offered that in your
Yeah,
space.
that is really wonderful.
So that's the kind of thing, when going back to the input forms that we talked about, that was what I used to kind of give the kids as an example of, tell me about the programs you want me to host here. Because they didn't know what I meant when I used the word program.
Mhm.
So we talked about it. Okay, this is what's going to happen. And then after the fact, this is what did happen. What else do you want me to host here? And so they talked about, I didn't know about this. Maybe you guys do, your viewers and listeners. They asked for a K-pop random dance. Have you heard of that?
A little bit. I've heard a
I
little
can't
bit.
say I'm familiar, but
Yeah.
K-pop is very popular. I do
Yeah.
know that.
So look it up. If you can host one in your library, I told them I'd host it around Thanksgiving, November time, something to do for fun.
Aw.
But they're looking for community.
Right.
Yep. Yep. I'm just so impressed. You have so many ways that you have built relationships in such a short time at your new school, that you built relationships with students, with community, but you also collaborate with staff members. And I know you talked a little bit about the Day of the Dead celebration with your Mexican American Studies class. Can you just touch base on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're getting ready to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, which comes up at the beginning of November. It's Halloween, and then Dia de los Muertos starts. And here it is a big deal for us. Our city hosts one of the largest festivals for it in all of
Wow,
the
great.
US. Yeah. And it's just a really phenomenal way to honor our ancestors, honor those that came before us, and appreciate where we come from and our culture and our heritage. And so my Mexican American Studies, my MAS teacher came to me and said, "Hey, Fox, what do you think about this?" And I was like, "Yes, I can help." What we're going to do is, in the library, we're going to host an altar called an ofrenda. You might have seen like the movie Coco.
Mhm.
Uh, and I told the kids, I'm not going to, because they found out and they were like, "Can I bring a picture?" And I had to tell them no, because I don't want you to bring your ex-girlfriend
Right.
and
Oh.
put her picture on there. Like, we're going to keep it to staff.
Look, Rebecca is like in the mind of the teenager.
Yes. So they were pretty excited about it. So we're in the process right now of getting everything set up, getting it situated. I'm also fortunate enough to have him agree to letting me teach about the history of Dia de los Muertos. And then to tie it into the library programming, we're going to be painting sugar skulls on Halloween during all the lunches. And then when the kids leave, they'll get a little goodie, a treat on the way out.
Oh, they're going to love that.
That's awesome. Rebecca, you have given us so many reasons that we need to take a trip to Texas, Julie. I appreciate everything you shared with us in this episode. Time goes by very quickly, but
It
can you
does.
remind our listeners how they can follow you or where they can follow you?
Yeah. So on TikTok, I'm at thefoxreads because of the last name.
Yeah.
My website is thefoxreads.org. I do also have Beacons. It's beacons.ai /thefoxreads.
Thank you so much for everything you shared with us today. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Julie, we had a great time exchanging ideas with Rebecca. It's time for our recap. But I just want to begin by saying Rebecca has positive energy with her can-do attitude instead of, I have to do this. She comes across as, I get to do this.
Yeah, she really does. I want to highlight her perspective about changing levels, especially the part where she says it takes a lot of time and effort. Librarians who are new to a level can get discouraged, and when they come from a previous school where they were used to being a trusted colleague, and then moving to a new school where they have to start from scratch to build those relationships with teachers, it's very, very hard. Rebecca just continually communicates all the ways she can support teachers while she's helping them learn where her areas of expertise are.
That leads me into something else. When she discussed the shifting expectations of a school life, as students do move from elementary to high school, that expectation of using the library regularly does fall away. But again, her mindset went directly to thinking of herself in a support role. And let me just say something about that, okay? Support is a term that some librarians don't prefer. Instructional partner is a more popular term. But any way you say it, it doesn't mean our role is less important, and it doesn't undervalue our skills. Because like she said, support means co-teaching, recommending resources, and embedding those information literacy skills into lessons.
Absolutely.
So, Julie, let's talk about the library input forms.
So she provides that opportunity for students and staff to fill out the library input form that she uses to help meet their needs. She's strategic in the question wording to make sure that it contributes to a welcoming library climate, which is what her goal is, especially in this first year at a new school.
Yes. You're going to learn something new about me.
Oh, I can't wait.
So I really think at the high school level, it's easy to survey your regular patrons or those students who are part of your book club. So my advice is to find ways to get feedback from students who are not necessarily your regular patrons.
Great idea.
They want to say, Jan, what worked for you? Do you want to say that?
Well, yeah, what worked for you? I'm dying to know.
Thank you. So since I was in high school, I asked for a few minutes at a meeting to ask informal questions. So student council, some of our athletes, math team, our world language clubs, can I just have a few minutes to introduce myself and get input about the library and remind them that the library belongs to them, and I would get feedback at the same time.
Wow, I really like that. Multiple perspectives from a lot of diverse points of view.
Yeah,
I like
thank you. So let's talk about this book subscription boxes that we've heard a lot about.
So she recreated this idea at her school, the book subscription boxes, and basically matched the students with their specific interests based on a theme. It was a great way to encourage excitement about reading. And, between the book boxes and the mum making projects, she really was focusing on building relationships with her students.
So I haven't had a quote in a while, Julie, and this isn't really a quote.
Oh,
but
can't wait.
While part of our duty is to check out books, the heart of our job as school librarians is to check in on people. Did you hear the check
I
out
like that.
and the check out,
Yeah,
the check in reference?
That's great. Is that an original? That's great. I like it.
So she's an example of that connection to me. She's making sure her students, her staff, and community feel seen and supported.
And, she also works with the teacher on the Day of the Dead project, which also helps earn credibility with the teachers at her new school. And this is just the beginning for Rebecca as she continues to build trust with her teachers. The bottom line is moving to a new level can be very challenging, but you can focus on winning your staff and students over through making them feel welcome and providing support where they need it, with the ultimate goals of promoting a love of reading and teaching information and media literacy skills.
True that. And how timely, since it is almost Halloween and Day of the Dead.
That's right.
I just want to remind you on social media, she's active on TikTok at thefoxreads. Also, her website is thefoxreads.org, and her beacons link is beacons.ai/thefoxreads. Thank you for listening. And oh my goodness, Julie, I'm getting ready to say we look forward to you tuning in November.
Wow.
It's almost November, everyone. Have a good one.
Make sure to visit our website at www.libraryexchangepodcast.com.
You'll find episode notes and links. You can even submit your questions or inspiring stories that may be featured on the podcast.
If you're looking for some swag for your library or book-loving friends, visit libraryexchange.etsy.com.
That's a lot of URLs, so I'm glad you had to say all of that, Julie.
Thanks for joining us. We can't wait to have you back for our next episode of Library Exchange.